Derek Whitmore had built his empire from blood and grit, rising from a broken childhood in Detroit to a multi-million-dollar tech firm in Manhattan. He didn't believe in luck, only leverage. And when it came to people, Derek's greatest talent was spotting cracks beneath polished surfaces. That's what made Claire so intoxicating. She was elegance incarnate, soft-spoken, magnetic, beautiful in the kind of way that made men forget their names. But Derek never forgot who he was. Not even when she first walked into his firm as a PR consultant with an agenda and a smile that could cut glass. They married within a year. Lavish, perfect, unreal. But even as they danced under a cascade of champagne and drone-shot fireworks, Derek knew something was off. Claire never looked at him, only at the life he gave her. The first fracture. It started with an envelope, thick, cream-colored, and anonymous. Inside, photos. Claire, laughing, holding hands with Marcus Trent, Derek's lead software architect and the man he had mentored since his Garage Code startup days. A hotel suite, a private beach in the Caymans, a moment too intimate to misinterpret. Derek didn't rage. He didn't scream. He simply stared at the photos until dawn, poured a glass of scotch, and muttered to himself, "Everyone has a weakness. Let's find theirs." The setup. Derek didn't confront Claire. Not yet. Instead, he played a devoted husband, offering a surprise second honeymoon to Italy, gifting her the car she'd mentioned in passing, giving her everything she thought she wanted. While she smiled and played the role, Derek rewrote the code of vengeance. He hired a private investigator to dig into Marcus's past. Offshore accounts, tax avoidance, a history of blackmailing former employers. It was enough to bury a man. Then came Claire. She wasn't just cheating, she was siphoning. Through a shell company, she'd funneled over $2.1 million from Derek's business accounts. Quiet, calculated theft. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was professional warfare, the orchestration. Derek invited Marcus and Claire to a private retreat in Vermont. A glass cabin, snow-covered trees, fine wine, hidden cameras. Dinner was perfect. Derek toasted to trust, to growth, to loyalty. Marcus squirmed. Claire avoided eye contact. Then Derek played the recording. Not the affair. Not yet. First, the wire transfers. Then Marcus's drunken confession to a woman at a bar, one of Derek's plants, about how easy it was to manipulate the tech genius with mommy issues. Marcus paled. Claire froze. And then he dropped the real bomb. A clause in their prenup. Any infidelity, proven by physical evidence, forfeited all marital assets. The hotel photos slid across the table like a death sentence. The aftermath. Marcus was arrested 3 weeks later for embezzlement and corporate espionage. Derek had turned everything over to the FBI, clean and cold. Claire tried to run, but her accounts were frozen. Her designer bags, her penthouse, her luxury, all repossessed. She begged. She cried. Derek didn't speak. He just watched her crumble, the way she once watched him build. She left with nothing but a suitcase and the clothes on her back. The final twist. A year passed. Derek's company flourished. He began dating again, slowly, cautiously. But the ghost of Claire lingered, not in regret, but in warning. Then an envelope arrived. Inside, a flash drive. No return address. He plugged it in. Video footage, Claire, sitting in a dingy motel room, speaking into a camera. If you're watching this, Derek, just know it was never about Marcus. Not really. It was about making you feel vulnerable. Human. You were always too perfect, too in control. I wanted to break you the way you broke everyone else. Her smile, even broken, was venomous. But you won. You always win. Just remember, King's Fall 2. The drive auto-wiped. Derek stared at the black screen, jaw tight. He didn't know what scared him more, that she was still out there, or that part of him missed the game. Would you like a continuation, an alternate ending, or a visual prompt for the story? Derek couldn't sleep that night. Claire's final words echoed louder than any courtroom sentence. King's Fall 2. It wasn't just a threat. It was a promise. A chilling prophecy from a woman who had nothing left to lose, and that made her dangerous. So he did what he always did when uncertainty crept in. He hunted. The silent war. Over the next 3 weeks, Derek pulled every digital thread connected to Claire. Her credit history, social media fingerprints, surveillance hits. He even leaned on a former NSA contact from his cybersecurity circles. Nothing. It was like she had vanished into vapor. But then, strange things started happening. One of Derek's minor subsidiaries was hacked. No data stolen, just wiped clean. A woman claiming to be a former assistant leaked an internal memo to the press, accusing Derek of creating a hostile work environment. His latest acquisition bid was blocked at the last minute by a shell corporation registered in Belize. The name on the registration? C. Whitmore Holdings. A new player. Claire wasn't acting alone. That much was obvious now. She had help. Financial, strategic, professional, which meant she was planning something bigger than revenge. She was building an empire of her own from the ashes of Derek's. And then came her message, delivered by hand to his office by a courier with no name. Inside the envelope, a black chess queen piece, a USB stick, a note. You taught me how to win. Now I'll teach you how it feels to lose. See, Derek plugged in the USB. It was a video, just like before. This time, Claire sat across from a man in shadow. They were discussing Argus Tech, Derek's most lucrative upcoming AI venture. She leaned into the camera. By the time this video reaches you, your board will have doubts. Your clients will be whispering, and your sister will already be compromised. He checked. She was right. His lead engineer and old friend had just resigned. The CFO was unreachable. The software demo for Argus Tech, scheduled in 5 days, was suddenly riddled with bugs that hadn't existed the day before. The reckoning. It was personal now. Claire didn't just want to humiliate him. She wanted to dismantle him brick by brick, using the same strategies he once wielded against his rivals. She had studied him. She had evolved. But Derek still had one weapon left. Himself. He called in a favor from an underground recovery specialist, someone who dealt with cyber warfare, corporate espionage, and disappearances. The message was clear. Find Claire. End this. Quietly. But when the specialist returned, he looked disturbed. She's not hiding, he said. She's recruiting. What do you mean? She's building a think tank. Hackers, ex-analysts, rogue tech heads. She's calling it Eris, like the goddess of chaos. Derek froze. Claire wasn't just his ex-wife anymore. She was a rival, a predator, the cliff's edge. On the morning of the Argus Tech demo, Derek walked on stage in front of global investors and cameras, heartbeat steady. Behind his confidence, every line of code had been triple-checked, secured in an offline vault, guarded like nuclear gold. He delivered the pitch. It worked, flawlessly. But as the applause roared, one final message buzzed onto his phone. A video, live-streamed. Claire, sitting on a throne-like chair in a dark room, backlit by flickering monitors. Behind her, the Argus Tech logo, upside down, glitching. Well played, she said. But this was never about Argus. I'm not after your company, Derek. She leaned in, eyes cold and brilliant. I'm after you. The screen went black. 1 month later. Derek had always prided himself on control. But now, every move he made felt like walking across a chessboard already mapped out by Claire. Her think tank, Eris, had grown, its members anonymous, their tactics brutal. A senator quietly pulled out of Derek's lobbying circle. An expose linking Derek's startup to early surveillance abuse aired on a major news outlet, falsely, but convincingly. A group of investors filed a class action lawsuit claiming data risk exposure inside Argus Tech. Each attack was silent until it wasn't, each one designed to isolate him. Claire was erasing him. From power, from trust, from the world he had built. And it was working. The Queen's passed. But Derek had one last lever. Something Claire didn't know he still had. A file, buried deep. Back when they married, He'd ordered a quiet investigation into Claire's life, an instinct he hadn't acted on until now. What he found wasn't just leverage. It was her origin story. Claire was once Clara Hensley, raised in foster care, abused by her first guardian, rejected by her second. She got into Stanford on sheer merit, changed her name, reinvented herself piece by piece. Every man she dated had power. Every relationship ended in her walking away stronger. Claire hadn't fallen from grace. She clawed her way out of hell. Derek didn't pity her, but he understood her now. Claire was hosting a black tie philanthropy summit under Eris's front company, the Athena Initiative. Everyone who mattered would be there. Technocrats, investors, political figures. Claire had branded herself a visionary, a phoenix, a savior of ethical tech. Derek arrived uninvited. He wore black. No entourage. No cameras. When their eyes met across the ballroom, everything else disappeared. Time didn't freeze. It tightened. She approached, holding a glass of champagne like a sword. "You shouldn't be here," she said coolly. "Neither should you. But here we are," he replied. A slow smirk crossed her lips. "Looking for revenge?" "No, just a reminder." He slid a single photo onto her table, a still from the Clara Hensley file. Her, age 17, standing outside a juvenile courtroom, handcuffed, bruised. She flinched. "I know who you really are," Derek said, "and I know why you're doing this." "Do you?" she whispered. "Do you really?" "You don't want to destroy me, Claire. You want me to see you." The silence between them was war. Then she leaned closer. "You saw me too late. I've already replaced you. You're obsolete, but I'll leave you with a gift." She pressed a flash drive into his hand. "Use it or don't. It's the last truth you'll get from me." The ending that changed everything. Back at his penthouse, Derek poured a drink and plugged in the flash drive. It wasn't malware. It was footage, recordings of Eris's inner meetings, plans, targets, future attacks. But at the center of it all was a revelation. Claire was planning to dismantle all major AI firms in the world, not just Derek's. She wanted to destroy the entire infrastructure that had failed society, because she believed AI would enslave humanity if left unchecked. She wasn't just fighting Derek. She was fighting the future. And suddenly, Derek saw it not as vengeance, but as ideology. Twisted, pure, dangerous. One final choice. Derek stared at the city lights, flash drive in hand. He could destroy her now. Turn the drive over to the FBI. Expose everything. But part of him hesitated. Claire was wrong, but also right. Unchecked AI was becoming a monster. Governments didn't care. Corporations only fed it. And Claire, his greatest enemy, was the only one who had tried to stop it. "Kings fall too," she had said. But sometimes kings fall because they finally understand the queen was never just playing a game. She was trying to win for all of them.